I think it's pretty safe to say that the driving force for the hype of Star Wars Episode 9 has all to do with Palpatine's return and exactly what the interactions are going to look like on the big screen between Sidious, Rey, and Kylo Ren, and how it's all going to be portrayed by Ian McDiarmid, Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, etc. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really intriguing about Episode 9 is that, yes, we are going to have many scenes between both Rey, Kylo, and Sidious in Episode 9 that's really going to stand on its own and is really going to be something very special by J.J. Abrams and, of course, creator George Lucas and what they want to do with those characters. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intense between these three different characters. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of a scene where it's described that both Rey and Kylo Ren have their lightsabers ignited, where they are said to be facing Palpatine inside of a strange environment that may be the new throne room of Sidious. It's explained that Palpatine is giving them a lecture about the dark and the light sides of the Force, and how both of them have no match against the power of the Beyond, which is said to be the very center of the dark side and the origins of the dark side. Additionally, it's explained that one of the scenes is said to involve a moment where Palpatine is delivering a terrible truth about Rey's parents, where she is said to become enraged, where she is able to use Force lightning against Palpatine, where Sidious is said to block it with his hand in a similar way of what Yoda did against Dooku in Episode 2. Now, it's explained that the scene is said to be very dramatic, and that the Force lightning from Rey is eventually shifted to hit one of the power generators in this strange room where the lights eventually begin to flicker. This is where Rey and Kylo are said to team up and fight Palpatine again, where both Rey and Kylo use the Force push technique that pushes Palpatine backward, where Sidious is said to eventually ignite his blade and fight both Rey and Ren to the death. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, like I've always said before in the past, there is going to be an element of Rey that will be explored in Episode 9 that's going to take fans by surprise, and that all has to do with Rey's dormant dark side power. Now, this most likely alludes to how she uses Force lightning against Palpatine in the battle, where she teams up with Kylo Ren and takes on the battle to go up against Palpatine. Now, why would she have this dark side power that's dormant within her? Well, it could very much line directly up with the leaks and the hints that we've been going over, that she is very well the granddaughter of course, Darth Sidious himself, somehow, some way that will be explained in Episode 9. There's a lot of hints out there that that is going to be the case for this movie, and could also explain as to why she has the ability to use Force lightning. So, with that being said, when we look at Rey and Kylo Ren as characters, they form this alliance within the third act of Episode 9 in order to take down Palpatine once and for all. I don't know about you, but this by far seems like it's the biggest hint of all that there is going to be some form of Ben-demption in Episode 9, as a lot of people like to call it, right? A Kylo Ren redemption arc, if you will, where he's going to go from being bad to good, in a similar way to what Darth Vader did. And when we look at that, right, it really does make one wonder, is it going to work for fans after such a character killed his own father, Han Solo, and we're talking about billions of people that died on the Hosnian system, and among others like Luke's Jedi students, you know, stuff around those lines. It really does speak volumes. So when we look at Palpatine as a character being portrayed by Ian McDiarmid and fighting both Rey and Ren, it really does make one wonder what this fight is going to be like. Well, we do know that there's going to be a lot of prequel trilogy choreography, so it's going to be very fast-paced, and you can already see the parallels that are being done here. One of the big parallels is, of course, the one in which we have Palpatine blocking Rey's lightning strike, or the Force lightning strike against him, where he's able to block it with his hand. Now, this is what, of course, Yoda was able to do in Revenge of the Sith and in Attack of the Clones. And that's what I like so much about this, is that they are going back to the prequels and using key moments to use for the battle between Rey, Kylo, and Sidious, where it's going to have those prequel trilogy vibes to it all. And I think that's a great thing by Disney and Lucasfilm. The other thing that I do want to go over here is how it's actually said that the Force lightning is eventually redirected toward a power generator that causes the room to eventually flicker. Again, this reminds me of the battle between Anakin and Dooku in, of course, Attack of the Clones, where Anakin cuts that little wire and the light, you know, pretty much goes out and flickers a little bit. Kind of reminds me of that scenario, so you can already see all the different parallels that are piling up on top of each other for Episode 9 that are going to be used in order to make it feel authentic as a Star Wars film. That's actually using elements from the prequels and the originals to tell this story, not just the story of Rey and Kylo, but also the story of Palpatine in Episode 9, and using Star Wars Legends as inspirational source material. Let's not forget about that as well. So, yeah, I will say I'm very excited to see how it's all going to turn out on the big screen, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.